shamayim, shamayim, va'aretz, al yitain lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha, hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael, Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yaminecha, Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka, ve'yareach balayla, Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha, Adonai yishmor tzeidcha uvoecha me'ata ve'yad olam. Psalm 121. We read, I lift my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help comes from Adonai, creator of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way, and your guardian will not slumber. See, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your guardian, your protection at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from harm, and Adonai will guard your life, your going and your coming, now and forever.
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, our God and God of all generations. Thou who governest all things with infinite wisdom and mercy, and who guidest the destinies of all of humankind. As a parent, have you loved us and showered your blessings upon us. Therefore we shall not murmur even when sorrow befalls us, but with humility and unfaltering trust, we shall accept your decrees. In joy and in sorrow alike, we praise your goodness and acknowledge your justice. We remember that we are but strangers upon earth. Like a shadow, our life flees away. Help us, O God, so to walk in your sight, that when the few years of our earthly pilgrimage are ended, we may be ready to meet our end with tranquil mind. To thee we look for comfort and strength when one of our beloved is taken from us and a link is broken in the chain of love which binds us together. Though we walk in the valley of the shadow of death, we shall fear no evil, for you are with us. Praised, O eternal, our God, in all your dispensations. Sanctified be your name, now and forevermore. Let us say together. At this point, we would like to call upon Juli to share some thoughts on behalf of the family.
Okay. Thank you all for being here today. See lots of loving, familiar faces, and it means a lot to the whole family that you're here with us. So thank you, guys. Before I convey some more serious reflections, I have two quick things to share about my dad that you probably already know, but they need to be said. The first is that he loved golf. He loved watching golf, and he loved playing golf, especially with Cindy. It's some of his most favorite memories and one of the greatest losses he had when his health began to decline. And the other thing, while he loved golf, he lived for driving. He lived for cars and automobiles, and we can all think of stories of the car shows and the stories, those of you that grew up with him from the 50s and his little Corvette, moving through all the way to his last car, his convertible Audi. And we just can envision him, sorry, thought I could get through this, up in heaven, playing golf and driving wherever he wants to go. So that's the first memory I want to share. On a deeper level, our dad imparted very inspiring life lessons to all of us, kids, grandkids alike. Overall, I see them fitting into four main categories that I hope as I share some of the stories will give you a better picture of him as a man, as a father, a husband, a grandfather. And these are life lessons he taught us: to be professional, to work hard, to treat others with kindness always, and to have fun. Our dad was an incredible role model when it came to his professional life. He always aspired to be most involved with his company, with organizations at the highest level of performance. He cared about the colleagues that he met. He cared about advancing the field and making sure that everything he did was to his utmost ability and with great honor. And as his children and grandchildren, what better way to grow up than to see somebody who took what they did and did it with such great honor and pride. For those who may not know, he served as Midcontin Wholesale's president for many years. It was the company started by our grandfather. It was a distributing company, wholesale distribution company that ranged across many states. And so really important to him was the alphabet soup of acronyms that went along with that field. So we have the NCWA, we have the NATD, and these other associations. So we saw growing up that when we want to be consummate professionals, we need to get involved. I know that my siblings and I have always made it a priority to become part of organizations, to pursue our education to the highest level, so we're able to follow in those pretty heady footsteps. One of the most heady of those footsteps is when my dad helped co-create by merging the National Association of Tobacco Distributors and the National Candy Wholesalers Association into a new organization called the American Wholesalers Marketing Association, or Marketers Association. He literally was taking something in the field and creating something new, and there'll be more about even more revolutionary stuff in a second. And one really great memory is when the year after he created this organization, the whole family flew to New York to celebrate him receiving the Founder Award. And at the time, we didn't know his first grandchild was also with us. I was pregnant with Addison, and we didn't find out till about a month later. So really, everybody had this opportunity to enjoy and celebrate these great honors. Part of Dad's professionalism included attending conferences, and family was a part of that. He took us often to different conferences, to different events. I remember no one can overcome the joy of a 25-pound chocolate Hershey bar, or the big Wrigley's box of gum that you get at the bingo game at the conference that we had. And it was such joy, when we were there with Dad and Sydney, and having an opportunity, or even going back, behind the scenes at Hershey's. And the reason we had these opportunities is because my dad was at the top of his field. He was beloved by all of the industry professionals with whom he worked. And this is a legacy that carries down to, I see it in my siblings, I'm seeing it in my nieces and nephews now, to bring this utmost care for their work and pride in what they do. Working hard is part of that. I've never, seen such a hardworking family, and that all trickles down from our dad. We all started work at a very young age, whether it was at an ice cream shop, the dry cleaners, the bundt cake shop, the movies, restaurant, just so many different places. I can't even think of it all. But he really was dedicated. And he was creative within this work ethic. A New York Times article, when he started Up Smoker Friendly, quoted, talking about David Bershof as a Denver-based entrepreneur, talked about his care for work and for the people that he served. And this quote that they included in the article, that many of you will know, and he said often, reflects this blending of kindness, compassion with his work ethic. And it is, when talking about Smoker Friendly and why have a separate cigarette store, was we have a philosophy of being very courteous and giving smokers the dignity that they deserve. For him, it was always about, how do people feel? And when he applied this value to his work environment, it just really served as a model for all of us. And I think we take that with us. In this endeavor, talking about hard work, his creativity, he really set up a new field. There wasn't this concept of a cigarette store, and now you'll see them everywhere. And it was this honor for individuals making their life choices that he did this for. So pretty important work. And now, along with partners, including the Gallaghers in particular, Gallagher family, they have over 300 stores in 13 states. So he set up this foundation that we witness as bringing a dream to life. And how lucky are we to have that legacy? Well, we learned from his hard work. More importantly, we learned from how he treated people on a day-to-day basis. We knew we were valued and cared for, and that the work we did mattered. Cindy and my dad never missed an opportunity to attend a graduation, and they've had a lot of them between the kids and grandkids. They made that a priority. Near, far, whatever was going on, they came, whether it was Canada, Arizona, a couple of times, Colorado, all over. They made sure that they were there for all of the graduations, supporting what we did, valuing the hard work we put into our efforts as well. We can picture Dad's face beaming, right, you guys? For each time he was there, the pride was enormous. So his heart overflowed with dedication and making sure that we were priority and that he passed on his lessons to us. All right, lastly, beyond, just a couple more things, actually. His kindness was structured in some ways. So he worked with the Jewish Family Service. He was actually an honorary board member for the Jewish Family Service. He did that for many years. He worked with, I need to look at my notes here, setting up the Maureen and Lillian Bershof Scholarship to ensure that people at the company had opportunities to pursue their dreams. He made sure with Greenwood Village, he was super involved with the landmark and giving back to the community, making sure that people were able to have joyful experiences and be cared for. Most importantly, probably in his mind, was the peer counseling work he did. He worked with people that had similar struggles as him to ensure that they had full lives. And then lastly, the lesson that I want to take or leave with you that I want us all to remember is that he celebrated fun. When we were little, we would beg for him to throw us in the swimming pool. We would have leg wrestling matches in the hallway. Lots of time spent at Celebrity Sports Center playing skee ball and pinball. We made sure that he and Cindy really made sure that we had lots and lots of family time together, whether it was a cruise, you saw some pictures earlier, the Albuquerque trip we did, the father-daughter granddaughter dinners that we went to with him, as well as the 4th of July celebrations at Green Gables. They were there to make sure that fun was a part of our lives, and we need to remember that that's a gift we need to take forward and bring into the future. So our dad's legacy is clear. He taught us professionalism, work ethic, kindness, and the importance of having fun. And I hope that gives you a tiny glimpse of the magnificent man that he was and what he hoped to leave behind him, because I know those are the most important things in his life. So thank you for being here.
And now from the perspective of a grandchild, we'll call upon Sammy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sammy. This is my mother, Jenna. We're good? Okay. I'm David's granddaughter and Jenna's daughter. Thank you all for coming to celebrate my papa's life. He was the cornerstone of our family. A man who embodied strength and resilience. His unwavering commitment to us was evident in everything he did. He taught us the value of loyalty, integrity, and hard work, instilling these principles in each of us as we grew. Papa understood that family was the foundation of everything, always putting our needs first and ensuring we had the support to pursue our dreams. But most importantly, he gave us the gift of each other. Because of him, I have my best friend who happens to be my brother. I have bonus big brothers who happen to be my cousins. And the best girl group the world has ever seen, my mom, my Aunt Jill, my Aunt Juli, and myself. Through Cindy, he gave me aunts and uncles who inspire me to push boundaries and do the right thing, and I have cousins who teach me to be myself no matter what. Papa loved having the family together, and there are countless memories I could share with you. Cool electric candy machines in his condo, or the textile rug in his old house that I can barely remember, or just plain old dinner. No matter what we were doing, or how many times I'd already seen him that night, Papa always made sure to tell me how beautiful and precious I am. My Papa had his hand in shaping many children, grandchildren, and in-laws, all of whom are amazing people in their own amazing way. He helped me buy my first car, and when I saved the money to repay him, he helped me invest that money into my future. He welcomed any and all of my friends and could always find something to talk about with them. He even slipped my best friend some cash when I wasn't looking, after she saw him slip me some. His legacy is one of love and dedication, reminding us that our greatest achievements come from the bonds we share. Today, let's honor his memory by carrying forward the values he instilled in us and continuing to grow just as he'd want us to do. Thank you very much.
There is no piece of literature that's used more often at moments like this than the words of the 23rd Psalm. And I suppose that it's used because it says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death," and so that makes it really appropriate. But I learned a long time ago, very long time ago, when I was a rabbinic student, one of my professors taught us a lesson about 23rd Psalm. The author of the 23rd Psalm was supposedly King David. Whether that's true or not, I'm not going to do the history lesson. But he was the supposed author of the book of Psalms. And he was trying to teach a lesson to mourners. And it's a simple lesson. And the lesson was, don't get caught in the valley of the shadow of death. You have to walk through it. And he said it simply, but it really was advice to a family that struggles, because we all struggle when we lose somebody we care about. And so we're going to call upon the Cantor to chant the words of the 23rd Psalm, and then we'll all read it together, those of you who have it with you or have it with you.
Adonai roi lo echsor bin hodeshe yarbitzeini al mei menuchot al mei menuchot Yanaleni Nafshi Yeshovev Yeshovev Yanchani V'maglei tzedek Yanchani V'maglei tzedek Lemon Shemo Gam ki eilech begit somavet lo irora ki ata imadi shivtecha umishantecha hema yenamuni ta'aruch lefanai shulchan neged zorarai dishanta vashem roshi kosi revaya ach tov chesed yerdefuni kol yemei chayai kol yemei chayai v'shavti beved Adonai leyorech yamim Adonai roi lo echsor Adonai roi lo echsor
Please join me if you have the words with you or if you have them in your mind. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Beloved family, dear friends, it is always difficult to come to a moment like this. I've been a rabbi a long time. I've never found it easy for families. And each of us is different, and yet there is some commonalities when we lose someone we love. It's a difficult time. There are no easy ways to say goodbye. And when we are at a moment like this, while words can sometimes be of some comfort, they don't relieve the pain that a family feels or that individuals feel, because each of you is different. And each of you, as I said to you yesterday, you all had a unique relationship with him. They were all a little bit different because we're all different as human beings. And so we come to this time, to this place, and we come together as a community to say goodbye to somebody that we've known for a long time. I've known David since I came here. Understand that Trudy's mother she was the bookkeeper at Temple Emanuel. And she and Oscar, we were close. And of course, Trudy and David were a part of our lives from the beginning. That's enough about that. I understand. But it's part of his life too, and it's a part of my life. And I always enjoyed that relationship that we had. It was not perfect. David did not always agree with some of the things that I might have said, but he was always a friend. And he was always there, and he was always present. And so it's one of those moments that we share together. And we as a community come together to say goodbye. Oh, we come here, all of us, in one way or another to mourn. But not just to mourn for David, also to mourn for the relationships that are gone. And we think about that, not just David and us as individuals, but we think about others. We think about ways in which we had relationships and we spent time together. We come here to share, each of us in our own way. Family shares with each other. Friends share with family. Joni, you've known him the longest, being his sister. And you guys had a great relationship. And you both had a wonderful relationship with your parents. They were wonderful people as well. And so we're here to share all of those moments. And we as a community are here to offer our sincere condolences to each and every one of you. Because each of you, in a different way, feels that sense of loss. Yes, and we come here to celebrate his strengths. Now look, I knew David pretty well. He was not perfect. You don't have to agree with me, Cindy. He was not perfect, but he was a good man. And he tried very hard to make his life make a difference, as you've heard from these beautiful, beautiful words shared by family. And so we come here to share those strengths that we're his. Because that's what we live life for. We live it so that whoever we are and whatever our strengths are, we can pass them on to the next generation. And we come here to recognize the humanness of each person. Come here on this time not only to offer our strength, but for in some way ourselves to be challenged, maybe to be more than we are now right now. Maybe we can learn from David's life. Well, not everything. I don't ever want to go back to smoking. It was a part of his life. I mean, tobacco was a part of his life. But the truth is, there were many parts of who he became in life that are worth taking into our own lives. Maybe we come here to be changed. Come here to learn from his highest moments. And we come here to grieve with the family. We come here also to understand or to think about, even if it's ever so slightly, about what it means to come to the end of life. What does it mean? Is there something beyond this world? We think about that. And as many of us as there are here, we all think different things, different thoughts. Are they right or wrong? I know everybody thinks that Rabbi is supposed to give you the right answer. People ask me all the time, Rabbi, what's going to happen when I die? I say, I have two answers. Number one, I really don't know. I've not been there before. And secondly, I am not anxious to find out. As most of us are probably not anxious to find out. Whatever lies beyond this world, it's something that we will deal with, or not. But that's something else that we're here to do today. We're here to remember. And for the grandchildren and one great-grandchild and two on the way, they have to be taught who he was. They're not going to learn just by having said his words. You have to teach him. You have to teach them so that they can emulate who he was in years and days to come. So who was David? Yes, he was a husband, and he was a brother, and he was a father and a grandfather and a great-grandfather. And to many of you, he was a golf partner, and he was a friend, he was a driver. I mean, he was a lot of things. But his enduring qualities, I learned some things yesterday about him that I really didn't remember. And they're important. He was kind. And he was generous. I don't know how generous he was with his stuff, but he was generous with himself, which is really an important way to be generous with other people. He was a lover of this world and a lover of life. He enjoyed living, even if his golf scores didn't always reflect that. He was positive even when he was down in life. And we all have those moments. He was a helper, especially after his own struggles. What I did not remember, and you shared with me yesterday, and I'm grateful that you did, and grateful that you said we could share this. 31 years ago, he entered AA. And he helped others along the path. And he reached out to them because he found some strength in sobriety. And that's a great gift. I know lots of people who've been through AA, and many of them don't even want to tell other people. That's not so with David. he reached out to others and brought them in. And when he had cancer, he didn't keep that inside. He reached out to others to try to bring some strength to them. And that's who he was, by sharing his own experiences, even his own struggles, even when they were difficult. He cared how people were perceived. I loved this yesterday when you said to me, the secretaries that worked for him were not secretaries. They were associates. It's an important distinction to make. It's a word. It's just a word. But it's a word that's filled with looking at another human being and seeing dignity, and not to see them as someone below us. And it's a lesson that we can all learn. He was dedicated to this community, not just the individuals. Did all kinds of things. In his professional community, for certain, we've heard some beautiful stories. And he was honored with his dad for the scholarship fund for the National Association of Tobacco Distributors. Important. On a national level, he was honored. He was president of JFS. And he was a member of the JCC board in Rose. National Council, it was called National Conference of Christians and Jews. I've forgotten what it's called now, but it has the same initials, but it's not Christians and Jews anymore. But he worked for them as well. He loved his cars, he loved planes, he loved golf. He loved the Broncos. He loved his family. He loved being a part of this community. And that's who he was. He filled his hours and his days. Try to make the world just a little bit better. And so to you, his family, his great-grandchildren, who are not old enough to understand any of this yet, I hope they will learn who he was. Pass it on. To you, his grandchildren, all of you, all 12 of you, 11 of you, 12 of you, 15 of you, it doesn't matter. We hope and we pray that you will find strength through the joys and through the sorrows of life, through his strengths and through his weaknesses, because weaknesses tell us something as well. To you as children, great responsibility you have to teach the next generations, because you have the closest understanding. All 6 of you, because he cared about all 6 of you. To you, Joni, you in some ways had that close bond with him, and I know you were both close with your parents. For good reason, they were good people. But you and David had a special relationship as a brother and a sister. And maybe the rest of us can learn something from that relationship. And Cindy, I had the privilege of marrying you and David. That is the joy of being in this community for so long. But, you were here, I was here a long time already by the time you got married. Only 47 years you were married. And I remember that day. It was at Green Gables. I remember. And I told you yesterday, I remembered the poem that you asked me to read. And I looked for it, and I have a whole stack of poems, but I couldn't find it. But I was going to. But I do remember that that's something you asked me to do. I know that your memories are filled with joy, hope, and like any other couple, you have to deal with your sorrows as well, your disappointments as well as your strengths. We learn from all of that, and we hope and we pray that all those memories will be a source of comfort to you to your family. I want to end with this very beautiful little poem. Poet wrote, "There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we will remember." May we remember David Bershof and all of the goodness that he brought to this world. We hope and pray that each of you in this family will find strength the years that you shared. It is in that spirit then that we resolve to face our grief without self-pity, but with bravery and integrity, keeping before us forever the blessings that God conferred upon us in this life that he but lent to us for these decades too few. And in a world where our most precious goods are perishable, let us resolve to honor our beloved dead by being so good to the living, so kindly, so understanding, so forgiving, so transcendent of pettiness, that in our love for him we shall hearken to those who remain and who need us and our strength. May it be through new relationships and new service to humanity that we make good our loss, and in the beauty of our own lives erect the noblest monument to our mourned dead. And thus the beauty of his life will ever abide among us all as a living and loving benediction. Adonai Natan v'Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevarach me'ata v'ad olam. God has given, God has taken away. Praise be the name of God now and forevermore. And let us all say together. Now, dear family and friends, may I ask you, as you are able, to please rise for the traditional memorial prayer.
Rachamim shochen bamromim amsei menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina im kedoshim otorim kezohar harakia mazhirim et nishmad David Shmuel ben Maurice Belilian shalach le'olamo Rachamim Yostireu beseter kenafav leolamim Veyitzror bitzror hachayim et nishmato Adonai hu nachalato Ve'yanuach b'shalom al mishkavo v'nomar amen.
O God, full of compassion, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence unto David Samuel Bershof, who has entered into eternity. O God of mercy, let him find refuge in your eternal presence, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be thou his possession, and may his repose ever be peace. Seated. Dear friends, the family has asked us to announce they will observe a period of mourning this afternoon after burial until about 8 o'clock this evening. Tomorrow afternoon from 12 to 4, and Sunday from 2 to 8. And they will be at the party room on the first floor at the landmark East Building. And your visits to the family at those times would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
That does conclude our service here at Temple Emanuel. We will have an interment at Emanuel Cemetery. We do have an escorted procession today. If you'd like to join us for interment, we'll ask you to return to your cars as quickly as possible and have your hazards on. That will help the escorts identify you as being part of our procession. We're going to use the southeast exit of the synagogue's parking lot to start lining up for our procession. If you're not going to the cemetery, if we can ask you to give way to those who are, and also ask you to use the northeast exit of the synagogue's parking lot. One last request is we will ask you not to come forward and try to speak with the family and express their condolences. They still need to get to the cemetery. So if you allow them to do what they need to do to get themselves back to their cars, that'd be very much appreciated. At this time, I'll ask you to rise and remain in your places as we invite pallbearers forward.